Hello again, everybody. This is Gary Patterson, and we're here this morning on Tuesday morning, the 29th, following our board meeting on Monday, the 28th of August. So we have a lot to talk about this morning. What we hope to do this morning is to give you an overview of what happened last night at the board meeting. As you recall, we try to do this every month to get a video put together. If you couldn't attend the board meeting or there were some questions you may have answered, maybe I can answer some of those that you need answered. Maybe I can answer some of those today. So let's get right into the board meeting. We started our board meeting yesterday early at 5:45 to have the public hearing on the proposed budget and tax rate. As you may know, that all school districts are required to adopt their budget and their tax rate before August the 31st. So we've been working hard all summer on the budget. We want to thank Pam Bindley, our new Chief Financial Officer, and all the business staff for all the hours and hours and hours that they worked in preparing the budget, meeting with department heads, principals, directors all over the district, and try to compile our budget on a very tight financial situation. So we had a public hearing first, and Ms. Bindley shared the proposed budget with the community members who were there and the Board of Trustees. And so we did that information only, and then at 6 o'clock we started our regular meeting. We had a very lengthy agenda. A lot of it had to do with budget and tax rate information that we just have to do at the start of each new fiscal year. So let me go over a little bit of that with you. We did consider approval, and we did adopt a budget for the 23-24 school year. Our revenues are down a little bit this year from both our local tax base and from the state. We ended up having about $3 million less this current year to work with than we've had the previous couple of years. So that's a real strain on our district, and that has to do with revenue coming from our local tax base and from the state of Texas. And our attendance numbers, our enrollment numbers are down a little bit. I'll go over that with you in just a minute, but that also impacts the financial end of things. So we adopted our budget and our tax rate. Our tax rate is 77 cents this year per 100, and that is down 26% over last year's property tax rate. So if you're a homeowner and you pay taxes in our district, you'll be pleased to know that our tax rate is dropped by 26 cents. And that is a huge drop, and we really hope that all of our property owners in our community can benefit from that. On top of that, you may be aware that on the November ballot in the general election this November, there is a constitutional amendment to be voted on, a proposition to increase the homeowner's exemption from $40,000 to $100,000. So you pay attention to that. You'll want to pay attention to that and get out and vote on that constitutional proposition that'll be out in May to increase the exemptions on your property taxes. Following the adoption of the tax rate and the budget, we had several items dealing with various business agenda items that we would just normally handle at the start of every fiscal year. Extensions on goods and services, everything from food service to materials and supplies to insurance, all of those things that you just have to deal with in the regular course of business when you start a new fiscal year. The board also approved a compensation plan last night for all employees. If you're a teacher, librarian, nurse, administrator, you would see a $1,000 increase for this school year. If you're in any other group of employee other than that, you will see a 3% increase in your rate of pay based on your pay grade midpoint. So we're happy. The board was extremely happy to do what they can do with limited funds. You may know that the state of Texas did not send any additional monies to schools as of yet from this past legislative session. So we're dealing with revenues that are a couple years old, still trying to present as close to a balanced budget as we can. We adopted a budget last night that's a $1.6 million deficit, but it was very important to the board to make sure that we compensated all our employees in the best means possible. And they worked really hard to get to a package that they felt was competitive and fair and really the best they can do under these financial conditions. So we really appreciate the work of the board, and we were glad that we could bring an increase to every employee of the district. So that was very important. Other items that I wanted to talk about, get you up to speed on a couple things. I presented a security update last night to the board. I just want you to know that we have received some additional funding in the form of a special appropriation that's outside of our regular budget. We apply for and are awarded several grants from the federal level that come, and the state level, that really are outside of our regular maintenance and operational budget. So if we receive a grant, that's additional income in another form, and grants are very restrictive to what you can spend that money on. So I want to let you know about a couple things that you will see around our district, hopefully in the upcoming weeks and months for sure. And we were able to secure some funding that we're going to be able to complete most of the security or all of the security projects that we did not finish last year because we ran out of funding. And that one of those areas was our card swipe access for employees, electronic card swipe, you've seen those. Also sensors to doors inside and outside. Doors will have sensors where if they are not open and closed properly, if they don't come all the way back to a locked position properly, that these sensors will send a message to two places, one to the campus administration and then one immediately to our security operations center, and we will notify the campus and get that situation taken care of right away. So sensors for doors, replacing many of the elementary interior doors at Flores, additional fencing and gating at Flores, additional fencing and gating at Dalton, and some additional gating at Uvalde Elementary School. Now these, after our tragedy, there were a lot of decisions made quickly on securing our campuses. And so after we've received most of that, got it in place, as we continue to monitor, we come across places that need a little extra security. And so that's what we're doing. So you'll be seeing maybe some construction on the exterior with some additional fencing at Dalton and Flores for sure, and an additional gate at Uvalde. Also at Morales and the high school, we will be finishing up any type of card access that we need to finish those projects there. And there may be an elementary school as well that needs to finish the card access. So that'll be ongoing. You'll see some of that, so be looking for that. Also, we received a construction grant to start and finish secure vestibules at each campus. Now, when we talk about vestibules, it's not necessarily the last piece that you would put into our safety projects, but because of the cost, we've had to hold off on that until now. So we've got a lot of security measures in place, but it's time to go ahead and finish our vestibules. What a vestibule is, if you're not familiar, is it'll be at the entry of each campus. There will be a new vestibule, and when we talk about that, and from a security standpoint, as you approach the school, then we will have constructed a single entrance for all of our campuses, a main entrance for visitors and parents, people who are doing business, whatever reason you have at our school, will be a single entrance. Most of you are using that entrance now, but it's going to look different in the months to come. As you approach, there'll be new cameras outside. We'll be able to detect who's walking up and who's at the doors, as well as who's walking up from from a pretty good distance. At that point, there'll be audio, and there'll be, besides the camera, there'll be audio and visual. Well, visual with the camera, but there'll be audio where you'll be able to punch the intercom button, talk to the receptionist inside the school, state your business while you're there. And then if you're coming on in and everything checks out, then the outside doors will open. So the vestibules will include 2 sets of new steel doors, one for entry and one for entry into the remainder of the building, that are armor resistant, bullet resistant material. So once you have an audio exchange with the office, if you're cleared to come in, then they will buzz you in with our new door system. Once you get in, if you have any documents to exchange, you need to be cleared on the security or show some identification, you'll be able to do that with a glass where you have, with an opening at the bottom where you're able to exchange documents. That glass will be armor resistant as well. And then if you need to go into the rest of the building for any reason and you're cleared to do so, then the office will buzz you in to the second set of steel armor resistant bulletproof glass sets of doors to get into the main building. So it's really a very critical piece of security that will keep anybody from just walking in to maybe just one door that is old. For example, Flores. If you've been in Flores lately, the main entrance you go into, those doors have been there a long time. What you'll see in the upcoming months is those doors replaced as part of the secure vestibule in that area. And so we're just a process of going through, trying to finish our security projects. Vestibules are a big ticket item, a critical component to safety. Overall cost will be about $1.8 million. We've received an appropriation from the state to finish those types of projects. So not only our vestibules, but additional fencing and gates, finish any cameras that need to, any additional cameras that we might need. Also rekeying our district. Some of our keys are decades old, been lost and replaced multiple times. We probably have 1,000 different keys throughout our district, and that's just not a safe and secure way to operate a school. So we're going to be rekeying our district at a cost of about $400,000 a year that will also be paid for this appropriation of safety and security money from the state of Texas. So we really appreciate the Commissioner's Office and all the work that they've done to make sure that Uvalde's appropriated the amount of money they need to finish our projects. So we're really pleased with that. So just want to mention that if you see some additional fencing, some additional construction going on around the front offices in the upcoming months, you'll know that that's just us at work trying to finish these projects that we set out to do. And I'm not happy it's taken so long, but I'm extremely happy that we finally have been appropriated the money. Has to be spent in that area though, of safety and security. And so we're really glad to get that. We appreciate that, and we'll get to work on all of those things. Also, I want to talk to you about something that's not very pleasant to talk about. We talked about it last spring when the incidents started. We started seeing an increase in incidents, and that's with vaping. There's been a new law passed, House Bill 114, that was passed in the legislature this past spring that requires, and I'll say that again, it requires any student that has any type of vaping device on them with, whether it's with THC or nicotine or something else. Any student that is found to have a vape has to be put in district alternative education program. That means removed from school, placed in DAP for a minimum of 30 days. That's an extremely harsh punishment, especially for maybe a first-time user who's just experimenting with that. But the issue is that our students should not be bringing vape to school, period. They have no place in school. They're small devices, easy to hide, backpacks, pockets, undergarments, shoes, many places to conceal vapes. They have no place in our school, and they are coming from outside the school into our school. Students are bringing them from home into the school, or from friends into the school. And so we need to raise our awareness of the magnitude of this problem. We need your help at home to look for these vapes, talk to your students about the dangers of it, the repercussions of it. Nobody wants a student to be taken out of school and put in DAEP that affects any of the activities that we have. A lot of our students involved in extracurricular activities in fine arts and National Honor Society and student council and all of these things, and they're not able to do any of that if they're in DAEP. It's a severe punishment. We don't have any choice in the matter. The law requires it, and we want to make the situation better, and it's almost impossible to do that on our own. We've got our plate full with a lot of things, and being the vape police is not something that we want to do. So if we work together and talk to our kids at home, talk to them at school about the dangers, then we can make a difference. But we really hope that you'll take some time and talk to your students about that. And again, we are going to do our best to keep every vaping device off of our campuses, but we have not been highly successful in that to this point. So the discipline is harsh, but the issues are tough, and the law is the law, and so we must comply. So hopefully we won't have to worry about that too much, but I'm afraid it's still trending. The use is trending upward, not downward in young people. So let's hopefully all work together on that. Give you a quick update on our enrollment, our student enrollment. We opened the year with about 3,760 students. Last year we opened the year with 3,700 and approximately 20 students. So we've got approximately a 40 student increase this year. So that's encouraging. What we need to do is to get them here and keep them in school. Our attendance rate is up from last spring, and that is extremely encouraging. At the end of 2 weeks, our attendance rate has been 91, a little over 91% of our students coming to school on a daily basis. Compared to at the end of last year, we were looking at the 87, 88 area. This is very, very important to everybody, all of us, to keep our attendance rate, average daily attendance above 90%. It's just really critical that we do that this year. We kind of look at attendance like a two-headed monster. One head is that we've got a lot of students who are not coming to school, therefore they're not being taught and they're not learning. If they're not in school, they're not in front of a teacher. They're not in front of an extracurricular person. They're not in front of somebody teaching STEM or robotics or math at the elementary level. They're just not there. So they cannot learn and they cannot be taught if they're not here. So we really need that attendance to stay high. So they're not here, they're not learning. That's one side of the problem. The other side, the other head of the two-headed monster is that our funding is specifically and directly tied to how many students come to school each day. And so when students are not here, they're not learning and they're costing the school district money. And so we need both of those things, and we're off to a good start. And we just really need a lot of help at home, encouraging those students to be here each and every day. So that's our attendance and enrollment. And then that took up most of the meeting time last night. And then at the end of the meeting, the board voted to start the search for a permanent superintendent. And we've talked about this a little briefly in the past. I've answered questions, how long are you going to stay? Are you going to stay months, years, weeks? And so I know it's a topic of interest. My intention, I came to Uvalde almost a year ago and planned to stay about 8 weeks at that time. And it's turned into close to a year, and it's been a tremendous experience and a real blessing for me personally and our family to be able to be here and work in the school district, but it's time that the district turn the page and find a more permanent superintendent, somebody a little fresher, as I like to say. And so we started that process last night. The board voted to not hire. They voted to enter into an agreement with a search firm, which will be the Region 20 Educational Service Center. They've been so generous. They have stepped up and offered to handle the superintendent search at no cost to our district. And it's not unusual to pay a great deal of money to search firms these days to assist the board in recruiting, applications, vetting, all the background checks needed, scheduling, advertising, everything that goes along with hiring a superintendent for a school. So they're willing to offer all of their services with their HR department, their executive director, and their field service agents, which mostly are ex-superintendents that are in the field, and assist Uvalde with that process at no cost to Uvalde CISD. So very pleased about that. And so the board also approved a timeline. And this will be posted on the website if you want to refer to that. On September 1, which is Friday, the board will be posting that positions in our statewide publications and online at the statewide search pages that superintendents follow for openings across the state, with Texas ISD superintendent website, with TASA, with Service Center 20 and other service centers. And so we'll be doing that on Friday. Also, the board has asked for community and staff input on the process and what you're looking for, what you'd like to have, the characteristics and the personality and the leadership traits of a new superintendent. And so to gather that input out of our communications and marketing department, Ms. Espinosa will be posting a survey online for you to gather input from you. There'll be notices going out to emails to all our parents and school community. There'll also be information sent to the local media. We'll get that in the paper as well. And so that'll be going up Friday, be open for a couple weeks for people to take. So it is important that the board hear from you. Any information that you give on these surveys, that'll be compiled and shared with the board before any hiring is done of the new superintendent. So they will use that information to help put together a profile of what it is our community wants and what they think are the most important leadership traits and the challenges that this district faces, who's best suited to meet those challenges. So we want to hear from you. We hope that you'll take time to put your input, give us your input on the survey that'll be up on the website probably by Friday or Monday of next week. So on September 1, we'll post the vacancy, have the survey up for community and staff, and then on October 13th, which is about 5 to 6 weeks, will close. October 13th, the applications will close. On October 23rd, the next week, the board will meet to review all the applications and select people for interviews at that time. And then from October 25th to November the 8th, 2 or 3 weeks there, they will be interviewing first round interviews and then bring some finalists back for second round interviews and hopefully be making a decision during that time between October 25th and November the 8th. And so that's a very brief overview of the timeline of hiring a new superintendent, but so I think reasonable expectation, depending on the candidates that ultimately selected, what their situation is in the district they're at, a new superintendent could be on board anytime from very late November to the 1st of January when the second semester starts, probably in that window somewhere. And we will, of course, continue to update information as we get closer to that point. But that's the process and overview quickly of the search process. Again, want to thank the Service Center for stepping up and putting all the work in so our board can have a time to focus on what they need to, and that's the applications of some very good candidates. So again, thanks to them. It's a busy time. Our students, our high school students, had a wonderful opportunity to go to the Alamo Dome last Saturday afternoon and play Jefferson. Our team really fought hard. The ending wasn't what the Uvalde side of the stadium wanted it to be, but our kids played really hard. They represented our school well. Our cheer squads were able to go. Our dance teams performed. Our band performed. And it was just a really great opportunity to be in a major college or environment like the Alamo Dome, and I think everybody really enjoyed the opportunity to be there. I want to thank the San Antonio Sports Foundation and KSAT for their support and getting Uvalde invited to an event like that, to the Kickoff Classic. So we all had a good time except for the score of the game. It was a great experience. And so we're gonna move on at this point. We'll be back with weekly videos, highlighting some programs and giving you, updating the community and our parents and community on a weekly basis on news of what's going on in the district. And if we need to get something out quickly, we can always do that as well. So we appreciate your viewership. Actually, to my surprise, I guess, we're getting a lot of views on these videos, and I hope it's beneficial for you. I hope the news we're sharing is relevant to you, and we'll continue to do that, try to bring you the latest information and just another way to communicate with you across the district. So with that being said, we're going to sign off for today, and we'll see you in a few days with another weekly video next week at some place of interest in our district. So just a quick thank you to everybody who helped get our school off to a good start. Thank you for your patience in the pickup and drop-off lines. Thank you for your patience in the front offices. It really means a lot. And now we're in a routine. Everybody's feeling a little more comfortable. So thanks for a really good start to the school year. And we'll be talking to you again in a few days. Thank you for watching.